Ladies and gentlemen,
Hello, and welcome to a survival guide for brand new Dota 2 players. I've heard from many people that they like the way that Dota looks, the game seems interesting, exciting, but it is intimidating as all get out to get into for two main reasons. Reason number one, it's very deep in its strategy and its game knowledge. The number of heroes, the number of abilities, the number of items, the number of stuff on the map to focus on. It's a lot. So how do you figure it out and get started? I'm going to break that down with you, going through the Learn tab in Dota 2. And then the other main reason why Dota is intimidating is because the community is horrendous. And this is something that can be a barrier for people, but there are tools to mute a lot of that toxicity or to work around it by using the buddy system and playing this game with friends. This is a very fun game to play with friends. It's social. You can have 5 people on a team. You can queue with 1 other person. You can queue with 2 other people, so in a group of 3 or in a group of 5. But basically, Dota is a game that I think is beautiful. I think it's really, really well structured in terms of rewarding both individual skill and team performance. It's a game that can really teach you how to make decisions on the fly with new situations. Because it has the same map every game, you might think that the matches get kind of repetitive, but they really don't, because the hero drafts are different basically every time, and the people playing those heroes and the decisions they make are different every time. So I wanted to do a longer form video here just to go over as much of the basics as I can, so you could listen to this while you work and you would feel like, okay, I have some sense of what Dota is and what my teammates would expect from me when I get into this. And they have a really nice Learn tab here if you click over there, and I'm just going to go through a bunch of these, maybe not all of them, but the ones that I feel like are important. And also just for my own curiosity, I haven't messed with a bunch of this Learn tab stuff because I played Heroes of Newerth back in the day, and I have played about 2,000 matches of Dota. I've gone from, what are the leagues here? I went from placing into Guardian like 3 or something, and now we're Ancient 3. And I would say the main edge that I've had moving up in leagues is focusing on my own mistakes and not being distracted by other people's mistakes. Every match, you're going to have thousands of mistakes on your team. If you look at every teeny tiny misplaced positioning, every misspell, every missed last hit, there are loads of mistakes that happen. And that's life, right? Any job that you do is going to be imperfect basically every time, and that's okay. If you can allow yourself to make mistakes and try to focus on reducing the largest mistakes, then over time you're just going to be a lot more polished as a player because you're not making the biggest blunders. You're making the second biggest blunders, and then you gradually pare it down. It's almost like sculpting your play or refining a piece of music that you want to play. So I'm not a pro at this, and this is targeted mainly to brand new players, people who haven't played this game at all, or maybe you've played some League of Legends, or maybe you've tried a little bit of Dota, but it seemed too intimidating, so you didn't really stick with it. Let's just go through and see, what do they say Dota is? This is Dota.
Enjoyed by millions for over a decade, Dota is a game of strategy, momentum, and action.
That's true.
2 teams of 5 players, called Radiant and Dire, face off in a vast battlefield. The first team to destroy the opposing team's Ancient will win the match.
That's also true.
However, there are many steps on the road to the Ancient. Before the battle begins, each player chooses a unique
Let's go
hero
Drow.
from a pool of over 100 potential fighters, each with their own abilities, strengths, and weaknesses.
You can see the age of this
Then
video.
enter the battlefield and compete to slay
Why are there 2
opposing
heroes mid?
players or computer-controlled forces called creeps, in order to earn experience to augment their heroes' abilities, and gold to purchase items that increase their heroes' power. As players become more powerful, they will lead their forces to eliminate the opposing team's defensive towers in each of the 3 lanes that cross the battlefield. If a team wishes to gain an additional advantage, they may also choose to face the monster Roshan, who guards the Aegis of the Immortal.
Hi, Roshan.
A unique item which allows a slain hero to immediately return to life. After the towers are eliminated, players may begin assaulting the opposing team's base. Within each base are several sets of barracks, which, if destroyed, will strengthen the forces of the attacking team. Beyond the barracks lies the Ancient itself, protected by a final group of defensive towers. The match ends if either team's Ancient is destroyed. This is Dota.
Okay, that was pretty true. That was very simple. Kill their base, kill their towers to get to their base, gain experience by getting last hits, get gold by killing their towers. It didn't really talk about the neutrals in the jungle and stuff like that. And the really funny thing about this is the old map. They've updated the Dota map and it is now 40% larger and there's a bunch of different stuff on it. But yeah, that's basically the essence of Dota is you are a character. If you've played Warcraft 3, you're basically a Warcraft 3 hero. You start out level 1, you're very weak, you have a spell, and then every time you level up, you make decisions about what ability do I level up next, do I get stats, and then for the gold that I'm getting, what do I spend that on? So let's see what the basic mechanics tutorial is here. Drow Ranger, let's go. Okay, what is it going to tell me to do? Your hero and your team. In this tutorial, you're controlling Luna, a swift hero who throws blades at her enemies from a short distance and summons damaging beams from the sky. You'll be playing for the Radiant team against the enemy Dire team. Okay. You begin in the fountain. If you fall in battle, you'll respawn here as well. Being near your team's fountain will quickly restore your health and mana. That's true. Hero camera controls. Movement and attack are right-clicking. The camera view can be moved by touching the mouse cursor to the edge of the screen. You can center your view on the hero by pressing space. So I changed the hotkey for that. It's not space for me. It's G. So right-click is to move around. Anyone who's played top-down strategy games knows this already. The healing thing they're talking about is when you're basically up these steps. Anywhere here is going to heal you. And then another thing is... I'm not going to even mention that. Okay. They want me to move here. I like that it equips the Luna skin that I have. Defend your Ancient at all costs. In order to win a match, your team must destroy the enemy's Ancient before the enemy can destroy yours. Okay, that's fair. Always spend your starting gold. You're given gold at the start. You should get items at the shop. Head to the shop. Okay.
Illuminating.
Gonna move back to the shop. Left click on the golden shop button in the lower corner of your screen. What? The golden shop button? This? 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 I have never clicked that. Equipping your hero for victory items have several uses. Some items heal, several increase your hero's power, some provide abilities. The shop displays suggested items for your hero. We recommend you purchase items from the list as you learn Dota. Normally I hotkey the shop. For me, I have it bound to B. So I hit B and then the shop pops up, so I don't need to click stuff. That's another just mechanical thing. You don't really want to be clicking stuff if you can avoid it. If you can make a hotkey out of something and use your keyboard, that means your mouse is free to micro your hero, which is going to make you a faster player. Okay, it wants me to buy a Tango. So I have this hotkey to Y for reference, and that's purchase quick buy. I will just press Y. And then now it's suggesting that I buy a healing salve. 30 health regen for 13 seconds. If you're attacked by an enemy hero or Roshan, the effect is lost, and it heals for half when cast on an ally. Okay, now it wants me to get a mana potion. Now it wants me to get this +2 to stats, +3 to agi. Okay. Some can be used to heal or restore mana. And then it explains the tango, the healing salve, and the clarity. Tangos, you eat a tree and you slowly heal. A salve, it heals a lot of health, but you can't get attacked by a hero during that. And then the clarity slowly restores a large amount of mana. Same thing with the healing salve. If you're attacked by an enemy hero, it cancels that. Cool, continue. 3 paths of attack. Bottom, mid, and top lane. That's how people describe them. Yep. Another way is for Radiant. This is the safe lane. This is the off lane. For Dire, this is the safe lane. This is the off lane. What makes it safe is you have a tower that's more forward on the map, so it's easier to retreat to. But it's a bit of a misnomer. At 10 minutes into the match, the safe lane is the fuck lane. It's no longer safe because the offlaners have hit level 6 and they're going to be casting big spells, and you usually want to go jungle at that point. So bottom, top, and mid, those are the lanes. All right. Move to mid. All right, well, they want to loot a mid. That's cool. I can go mid. I also like to get in the habit of having items in the same slots so that I don't have to think about what the hotkey is. I hotkey my item slots to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just really easy to remember, and I can reach all of those keys. And then you can double tap an item to self-cast it, and you can control and then hotkey button that to cast it on someone else. So if I double tap 2, it will healing salve myself. If I double tap 4, it will mana potion myself. If I control 2 an ally, it puts the healing salve on them instead of me. For a tango, you have to hit 3 and then click the tree for that to work. Okay, so it's explaining creeps. Your team's foot soldiers will spawn near the edge of your base every 30 seconds. So that means on the minute and then at second 30. Creeps automatically march toward the enemy base, attacking any enemy units or buildings they encounter. That's true. The battle begins. Follow your creeps. Follow them into combat. Try to position yourself so the creeps receive any enemy attacks. When a wave of creeps dies, back up and regroup with the next creep wave.
Quickly now. Yes. Far the night.
Earning experience from nearby battles. Experience is shared between all heroes nearby. Earning experience gains you levels, so you can get abilities. Yeah, that's true. Right-click an enemy to attack. Yep.
What do you see? Unworthy.
And I press H to hold
Into
position.
battle.
Your hero does have a turn rate as well,
With pleasure.
and they have an attack wind-up, like to be able to shoot their shot, and then also they have an attack animation until that connects.
Sky alight.
Okay, this is telling me when I level up, I get to choose an ability. Signature power can be used to level 6. That's called your ultimate. Click on the gold plus above Lucent Beam to learn that ability. I'm going to give you a special Neuro secret here. You don't have to do that. You can hit Control Q W E R. So you don't have to click it. That allows my mouse to stay free on the map, so I can click this and Control Q at the same time. But you can also click the plus. Use your abilities, press the key shown above the ability icon, then left click on a target.
Let's go.
Passive abilities are automatic, always active, and don't require mana. Okay, great.
Absolutely.
So now it wants me to cast a spell. Boop.
Lucent beam. They will find my blade
Towers retreat if
sharp
attacked.
and cruel.
If a tower attacks your hero, you should retreat before you take too much damage. Destroy the tower to complete the tutorial. All right.
Let's go.
So I'm going to get my passive again, because that just gives me stronger hits. Luna's passive ability. 200% of the attack damage bonus. This just means you slap hard, and it also gives an aura to your allies, where they also slap harder.
You won't escape. The night sees all.
Just try to last hit as perfectly as possible. One of the expressions of skill, and I'll tell you a old school Neuro story. Being able to last hit well is the mark of a good player, especially a good carry or mid player, or offlaner, because all of those players really need gold to succeed. So I have my friend Naven. We played World of Warcraft Arena together and we got Gladiator, and it was a big achievement. We're very proud of our special dragon mounts and stuff. It was really cool. And he got me to try out Dota 1 and then Han. And originally when I was looking at the characters, I thought Anti-Mage was really cool because he had like the Illidan character model and stuff. And I really wanted to play that. And he said, oh, you can't play that. You have to be really good at last hitting to play carry. And that kind of bristled me a little bit because I was like, well, then I'm just going to get good at last hitting then because I want to play that role. It is super important for you to get good value for your team to be able to last hit well if you want to play carry. And you can do that in demo. Like, I'm practicing it right now. I don't need to be in a ranked match to practice last hitting. As we go through this tutorial, there is another last hit trainer that even allows you to track your progress and last hits and stuff.
Crescent steel.
So last hitting is one of the most fundamental and crucial skills in Dota. And you can get better at that every time you play. And each hero last hits and swings a little bit different.
Yes.
Certain heroes are harder to last hit with than others. Like last hitting with Drow is super duper hard compared to last hitting with Juggernaut. Juggernaut has like a quick samurai strike with his sword, and it's just super responsive. The animation is very fast. He's melee, so he's already up close to stuff. Juggernaut is a very easy hero to last hit with. Luna, I would say, is relatively easy to last hit with because of this ability, the passive. It just makes her normal attack hit a lot harder than many other carries at low levels.
Slice.
So I can buy some... I can't buy other items in this tutorial, okay? Gonna DPS this tower. Doesn't stand a chance.
Run them down.
Yeah!
Why last hit your own creeps? It removes the experience, it halves the experience and removes the possibility for gold for your enemies. And that's a Dota specific one. It's not in League of Legends. You can't deny your creeps in League of Legends, but you can in Dota. Basically, it's a way to starve your opponents. They want to get the gold from last hitting, but if you get the last hit, they get 0 gold and they get half XP. So it messes up their day. Getting around. Let's see what this one has me do. Do you do the A stop method? I use hold position whenever I want to stop my movement or cancel a cast.
Of course.
I always have my boots in the 4 spot just for consistency. Center your hair by clicking on the portrait.
On the prowl.
I like to use the hotkey for center on hero.
To the battle.
Use your
I'm
phase
not
boots. They have a
ready.
cooldown. Okay.
Forward, pet.
This arrow is telling me where to go.
Not yet. Leap forward. Blink,
Oh, they give me a
dagger.
blink. I always put my blink on the 3 hotkey just for consistency.
Yes.
This is a cliff. This isn't even the normal Dota map. They just made like a custom thing.
It's not time yet.
This is reminding me of the
Right.
StarCraft mission where you play as Zeratul and you're doing like blink stalker stuff. Phase boots? Oh, units block stuff. Like you have collision here, so I can't go through. Oh my gosh. What can we do? Phase boots gives you increased movement speed and lets you move through units and turn more quickly.
Agreed.
When I activate that, I can walk right through. Amazing.
As you will it. Good idea.
Haste?
Haste.
Ooh, a haste rune. Basically sets you
Forward
at
by
max
bounds.
movement speed for the duration of this, which is really fun. 550 speed. Okay, it wants me to
Since
leap.
you command it.
I can't. Okay, I'm muted, so I can't use my blink dagger. It wants me to use Mirana's leap ability to get across. How exciting is that? Also, your run speed doesn't increase her leap jump speed.
Good
It's a
idea.
close one, but we made it. Wow. Force Staff allows you to traverse through barriers. This is a very, very important item. Does it want me to
On
go
track.
through these, I guess? So I can double tap this and cast it on myself, or I can hit one and then click myself. I think double tapping is usually easier, so I'll just double tap one. Get over that. Nice. There's just movement. Force Staff is an item that your team will want you to build a lot of the time. So if you play a support hero and you get a Force Staff, people will like you. Just a side note there. If there are any questions in the chat that are relevant to the Dota discussion that we're having and I miss it, you can tag me and post it again. I won't be upset. All right. Teleporting scenario. Let's take a look at this. Oh, this is a very important one. Teleport. Are you ready to teleport from one place to another? Ooh, I'm Wraith King now.
Always at my best.
Wow, that's pretty arrogant. It's okay. Never run off to battle without a town portal scroll or two. Okay. So it's just this scroll here. And then it wants me to teleport here. So I have this hotkey to tilde. You could also click this, but like I said, try to avoid clicking stuff if you can bind it to a hotkey. So I'm going to just click the mini-map here. That's another thing that they didn't mention yet, but you can click the mini-map to go places and it saves you from doing this. This is so slow. Oh my gosh. I can just do this. And then the hotkey for teleport. I teleport to the tower. You do want to be mindful because the enemy team can see that teleport coming in. So you want to make sure you're in a safe spot where they're not going to be able to like cast a spell and kill you right as you land. So it wants me to stun him, I guess. Oh, I was supposed to interrupt this. Okay, okay. I didn't realize that's what he was going to do. Okay, so I buy a TP. Let's just get 2. Because when I TP in, then I'll still have 1 TP. And now I want to attack him. I failed the scenario. Oh yeah? You can't TP, I stunned you. Any stun effect, leash effect, or fear effect can interrupt that. Wow. Sick plays by Dragon Knight, yeah. So those are TP scrolls. Now we get to learn about couriers. Couriers.
Stalking.
Why is it focusing the camera like this? It's weird. You can buy items near a shop. Click here to open the shop. I'll just hit B. Ogre Axe. Oh, it's on the courier? Okay. I don't know if you can see it here, but there's a grab all button. Click that. And then I have all the hotkeys set up for this. It can retrieve items from your stash. So I could just press R and it would get it from the stash. W would send it to the secret shop. F returns the items to the stash, so it puts it back in the base for you, like in your bank. And then Speed Burst gets it to you fast. And E brings it to me. So let's just bring it to me, and I'm going to give it the speed boost. This is not the default courier, it's a donkey. I have an octopus one with a telescope. Oh. Click here to open the shop. Now it wants me to get this. Okay, so I bought that. And then I can hit C, just like my courier. And then I can hit R to retrieve items from stash. And now it's bringing them to me. Look at him go. Oops. Click here to go to the secret shop. It wants me to go there. Hello. Open the shop. Hit B to open the shop. Wow, a point booster. There are some items that you can only get from the secret shop, which is why they're telling you this. And you can just tell your courier with the push of a button, go to the secret shop. It's one of the places they just know how to go. So they can go home, they can go to the secret shop, they can go to you, but you can also just right click them, like tell them to go here for some reason. Okay. Click here to transfer them to your hero. Or use the hotkey. Like a god gamer. Look at him go. Wow.
Scepter.
We did it. Look at how happy he is with that new item. Regen consumables. We're gonna regenerate here. Oh boy, this Viper is looking worse for wear. Go to the shop. Guess we just buy these. Remember what I said, double tap.
I glide on.
So I click the tree after clicking the hotkey for that.
Forward.
Look at how quickly I'm regenerating. Oh, it wants me to give a tango. So I hit Control 3 and then click the Lena. There you go. Lena's feeling better already. Whoa! Healing salve can be cancelled. Bring Lena to full health and mana. Okay. Control 2.
Oh, thanks.
Here, take a tango. Take a this.
Swoop the battle.
This is something that you need to do a lot as a support. Because you want to let your carry basically thrive and focus on getting items that improve them. You can buy regen for them. Okay, Lena's getting full mana. We got it. Okay, now
Yes.
can't micro the Lena. Use regen items on the hero.
Wings.
Oh, I needed full mana. Cool. Can cancel regen, Peepo notes. Play a game in new player mode. Okay. 30 minutes. I wonder if it'll take us 30 minutes. New player mode. Is this putting me with like other new players? Should I do this or would that be smurfing? I don't know. I thought it would put me against bots. Is there one that's play versus bots? Mid-game progression. Play co-op against bots. Don't lose. This is the mode where you can cancel and be replaced by a bot? Ah. I have no idea what the queue time would be for this. Play a game with a friend, 45 minutes. I've already done that. I think maybe we pass on this for now, because I don't know what that queue time would be. Mid-game progression. Let's just keep it moving, keep it moving.
1 minute until 30 seconds after battle.
We have first blood. Soul is more my sort of thing.
About time.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll need to become more powerful to take down that Shadow Fiend. Let's complete an Echo Saber and level up. Okay. What? This is not how the shop normally looks. This is kind of weird. Oblivion Staff. Do I need to get gold first? Shift left click an item. Oh, it wants me to do that. But I can't buy it?
Aye.
Find it in the shop, then shift click or drag data to quick buy. Okay, I did that. I guess it wants me to just get the whole Echo Saber.
Aye. On the way.
Okay. I need to go get some gold. Oh, I have a TP.
Yes.
The way of the last hit.
Keep it here.
Oh, I have no
I'll do
courier.
it.
Why can I not buy it? This one is scuffed.
Never cross me.
There's no courier. Do I have to run back to base?
It's only proper.
I can't damage some of these. This map is spooky. I'm just gonna run home.
Ah!
I'm running home.
Good idea.
This lane is cursed. These have 550 health, but those were invulnerable for some reason.
To battle.
I can't go back to the base. Who made
My
this?
code compels me. Onward.
Maybe it still thinks just side shops exist. Oh, they
That's
did have
right.
those.
Agreed.
Can I go into the base this way? I can't TP
Not
back,
yet.
can I? What are these green
Good enough.
fences?
Of course.
The sequence broke when I didn't buy the things at the start. Can I restart this?
Good.
I can't hit escape. Exit. Okay, we're gonna try to restart this one. This one is weird.
$30 seconds until
Digital sports.
As a reference, you can stun Shadow Fiend while he's casting that to interrupt that. Okay,
By my lights, I can do better.
great. Find in the shop, quick buy. Okay. Sometimes you do things too fast in a tutorial and it gets confused. Right click on the item in the quick buy, or just hit the hotkey. Head out into a lane to get golden experience. It's hovering over the TP scroll.
Why not?
Okay. I have 2 TPs now.
Good. Yeah. Never cross me. Die now. I grow by degrees.
Oh, it wanted me to buy 2 town
Good
portal
choice.
scrolls?
Yes.
TP scroll next to the tower. I already did that. Okay. Wow.
So you say.
Earn 225 gold. Learn Great
idea.
Cleave. Okay, I already did that.
I can do no less.
Now I can hit stuff. I've been doing things out of order.
To battle.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I'm like Obi-Wan Kenobi watching Qui-Gon Jinn fight against Darth Maul. Can I do this? Oh! I can throw stuff.
Okay.
I can't go through this fence, but I can throw things. Wow, I got level 10. Learned 15 attack speed in the talent tree.
Of course.
Okay, I leveled up the wrong thing.
I'll do it.
Sometimes I just have these instincts and I just have a
Not yet.
quick snap call reaction. I'm not used to waiting for the tutorial to tell me what to do next.
By the outcast blade.
Where's the high ground? Dude, my creeps are owning. Where are their creeps? Jeez Louise. Oh man, he cleared that creep wave. Oh, there are creeps! Okay, there's hope. We can level up again.
Very well.
It's blinking at you, gotta click it. Yeah, but I don't. I leveled up Great Cleave twice. That's the problem. You can only get one thing per level up. I wrongly assumed what the bot wanted me to do. Buy a robe of the Magi. Okay, I got it.
On the way.
Retrieve the items from the base of the courier. Okay.
On guard.
Your courier can be killed by enemies, so try to meet in a safe place. I'll be honest, that's one of the mistakes that is currently still in my play. Sometimes I just tell it to bring me the items, and it flies into danger and dies. It's very sad.
Bow down. Right.
Great. You can find neutral creeps. Okay. Clear
Good
neutral
enough.
camps. Defeat 5 of them.
Forward.
Why are there ancients there?
Right.
Sven is awesome. He smashes very hard. Scod strength ability gives him 120% bonus damage at the lowest rank and 200% bonus damage at the highest. I got the attack speed. They're small, medium, and large. Each is more dangerous. Yep. Neutral item. Imp Claw. This is an old one.
I fight.
Grove Bow. Neutral items. You can only equip one at once, but they can be shared. So I got yelled at about this the first time that I played Dota when they added the neutral item thing. If it's in your inventory like this, you right click it, teleport to neutral stash if you don't want it. Or if you replaced it with a higher level one. Okay, teleport to the tower. I'm right next to it, but okay, if you insist.
Yes.
Defend your tower. The tower attacks your enemies. He's level 19.
Right.
Use your basic attacks and abilities to defeat Shadow Fiend.
To battle.
How strong is he? Will he try to ult me? He has a Hurricane Pike and a Kaya. What a weird build. Sven would be pretty strong though. I kind of want to save my stun for if he ults, but he's not ulting. Boom! Got him. Alright, so that one brought a bunch of different things together. Getting items, going out to farm, TPing, using a courier to get stuff, farming neutral camps, using neutral items, and then fighting an enemy hero. Oh, that was good. Map vision scenario. Alright. We are a lich now. Open the shop using the hotkey. I got observers and sentries.
Agreed.
I love this desert map. Where can I get this map skin? Okay, place a ward up here. Oh, we can see the pudge. Gives us vision for the team now. I click on the ground to move. Where does it want me to go? Over there. Oh, he's level 10 and I'm level 1.
Man drifting.
So we need to avoid him. That is a pretty common thing in Dota, where there's an enemy here that can just straight up kill you. They're just that ahead, so you need to make sure that you're not in their business. Sentry ward. Oh, deward this. Sentry wards allow you to see invisible stuff, so the blue ones detect, and the yellow ones give you just vision. But as a Zerg, this is basically like Overlord placement. You want to have good vision on the map. Stuns and disables scenario. Let us learn about how to stun and disable things.
30 seconds to battle.
Okay. Move forward Lena and disable Bane when she healed towards her.
As the shades direct.
No. Ha! Ha!
I fight.
Protect the drow.
I go.
With Hex, you can disable enemies even longer. Queen of Pain will use her blink.
Curse it. Chipcast.
Oh,
We have first
nice.
blood.
Good teamwork.
First blood.
Shadow Shaman
Well taken.
has so much disable between these two abilities. If you have a team and they're kind of picking the heroes and you don't have much disable, Shadow Shaman is really good for just filling that. Also, the support heroes end up being picked early on, so I would say Shadow Shaman is just a really good hero to have on the team because he just gives you really consistent disable. He has that hold ability and he has a hex ability. And then he has a zapping first ability and then a bunch of serpent wards that just attack in one spot. Team fight initiation. We're going to learn how to start a team fight. Ooh, it's going to give us Tidehunter. Tidehunter is such a good initiating
30
hero.
seconds to battle.
One thing that we might go over during this is the different heroes. I did a video on this before, but just which of the heroes bring really crucial stuff to the team and are also pretty, I don't know if easy to play is the right word, but straightforward.
A good path.
They're trying to push our tower here. Hell no.
First blood.
An ally died. Okay, we retry it.
On the
I
hunt.
didn't know he's gonna stun me.
1 minute until
Oh, it
30
wants me to
seconds
hide in the
after
trees and do it. That's cool. Ravage has a big AoE. Look at this. The green circle. Let's go.
By the moon. You brat. Blink dagger. Now it's on.
Oh, now I have blink.
Forward.
Now I can instantly teleport. Wants me to go over here. Tidehunter's ultimate is so strong. Has a big stun, pretty good damage. Land your Ravage before Enigma uses BKB and becomes magic immune. Okay. Ooh, zap them.
To battle.
Bam!
A vicious double slaying.
Read a secret.
Radiant victory.
A lot of Dota teams kind of suck because they don't have someone who wants to start the fight, so everyone is kind of standing back and scared to get involved. Tidehunter with that ultimate, like they just showed you in the scenario, is super good at just going in and starting chaos and hurting the enemy team, disabling them so your team can rush in and all the targets are softened up, so it really increases their chances. Just real quick to point out some initiating heroes that people love to have on their team. Slardar. He has an AoE stun. One of his abilities makes him run really fast. He can detect invisibility. He's a good like jump and fight kind of hero. Tidehunter right here in the strength category. He does the same thing. Another really great initiator would be Axe. Axe is a man with a big axe and he just runs in and he does an AoE taunt and then he spins his axe and cuts people up. And he also has really high armor. So he's another jump in there and fight. Dawnbreaker. She's really nice because she can jump into a fight from anywhere on the map with her ultimate ability, which means she can kind of farm off on her own. And when the team is like, hey, Dawn, we need your help, you can just teleport across the map, like slam right into the fight and stun them. So that's a really nice hero for being able to help anywhere on the map. Earthshaker is another hero where he wants to jump in there, AoE stun people, get the fight started. Dragon Knight also can start fights. Primal Beast, basically the strength category. Centaur as well. They're going to have more health than Agi and intelligence heroes on average. So they're very eager to get fights going and they have more wiggle room to just get hit before they die. That's another jump in and fight hero. Sand King got moved to Universal, but he's really good at starting fights. Bat Rider can grab one person. Enigma has his ultimate, which is really good for big crowd control and AoE. So if you're just looking at things to check off in the boxes for your team, you want to have good just damage. So you want to have some damage heroes. Having some healing and sustain is good. So say like a Necro, he does an AoE heal, or a Dazzle, he does an AoE heal. Io can heal people. That's a pretty complex hero, though. I wouldn't recommend Io to start. Oracle can heal. There are a lot of healers as well that are nice. And then just crowd control. Like they showed you Shadow Shaman earlier. He has really good crowd control. Witch Doctor has a stun. Rubik has a stun. Different slows and stuff can be applied. And then you want to have some tower damage potential. Like you need to have some heroes that are good at killing buildings. So examples of that would be any like farmed agility carry is going to be able to just right click towers and hit them pretty hard. Naga Siren is really good at pushing towers. Luna is really good at pushing buildings down. And then any hero that summons pets is going to be pretty good at that. Like you can control other minions. Those can be more or less complicated, like Lone Druid. He just has his bear with him, and his bear is really good at knocking down towers. Then you want to have good hero damage. And then also having some heroes that have escapes is good too. So any hero that can blink, like Anti-Mage can, or Faceless Void, can join a fight or leave a fight pretty quick. Yeah, that's just kind of a quick rundown. Initiators are good. It's good to have an initiator on the team to get the fight going. Okay. Where did we get to? We got the team fight initiation. Let's go to status effects. Scenario. Mars Arena is big impact. That's true.
30 seconds to video games. 30 seconds.
Now you are!
It gives me an Abyssal Blade. This is a very expensive item. Stop. Stop sending that poor Lina.
We have first blood.
Oh.
Blood. This one's gonna be a scorcher.
Good job, Lina.
Out of my way!
I'm gonna silence him.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
I like that it uses my skins for these. Just for the demo stuff. Nope. Rod of Atos, this roots them in place. Good item. Yeah, this is just showing you the different status items. Troll Warlord attacks fast. Heaven's Halberd disarms him. So his attack abilities do nothing. Yeah, so that showed you a stunning item, a silencing item, a rooting item, and a disarming item. In one of the previous scenarios, it showed you Force Staff, which is a moving people in the direction they're facing item.
Praise the Radiant and then...
The items are pretty complicated. If you're brand new, I would probably suggest like picking a couple heroes and then just figuring out what your item build is on those and then just getting used to the items one at a time. There are so many items in Dota. Roshan and the Aegis. Chad is saying Invoker is cool because he can do all the roles. Invoker is one of the most complicated in the game.
Yes.
If you play Invoker, you should play a lot of Invoker to be good.
Tracks of intruders.
Ursa is a strong bear, and he has bear powers.
Interloper.
He does more damage the more swipes in a row he gets on a single target. So Ursa of the heroes is one of the best at getting Rosh.
Immortality.
Exit Roshan's pit. Defeat Juggernaut with the power of the Aegis. Oh no, he's ulting me.
Fall upon.
So Aegis, after some delay, you come back up.
Your blood is mine.
Oh man,
First blood.
nice.
Radiant
claws are-
victory.
That's Roshan and the Aegis. As a fun side note, if you know you're about to be killed by the enemy team, you can run into Rosh's pit, and if Roshan kills you instead of the enemy team doesn't get the gold or experience. So, kind of a niche thing, but in general, if you die to a neutral creep or Roshan, then yeah, enemy team doesn't get credit for that. View the glossary. Wow. This is good if you want to learn more of the jargon of Dota, like when people are saying the different phrases for pause 1, pause 2, pause 3, like what do all of those mean? Lanes, creeps, and towers. Mechanics, they start at level 1. Gold and bounties. Gold is good, get more of it. Mechanics experience. You can get up to level 30 as the maximum. And this shows the experience required to get each level. Over the course of the game, the creeps get stronger too, so you get more experience from them. And then as enemy heroes are higher level, you gain more experience from killing higher level heroes. Last hits and denies. When a friendly unit falls below 50%, friendlies can attack it. So sometimes you can use that to just attack your own creeps to pull your wave back toward your territory to give you more safety by your tower. And then you can kill your allied towers when they're below 10%. There are basic attacks, which is just like your auto attack, right click kind of thing. And then abilities. There's armor and magic resistance. These just mitigate the amount of damage that you take from the attacks you receive. Physical, magic, and pure are the 3 types of damage. Different items and hero abilities can give you mitigation against these or increase the damage you deal with those. This is the death respawn time per level. So if you're dead at level 25 or greater, it's 100 seconds of being dead. But if you die at level 1, it's only 12 seconds. So the higher level you are, the more time you spend dead if you die. Also, dying is bad. But there are cases where you would trade your death for an ally's death because it's more valuable to keep that person alive. A lot of times support players will stick their neck out and die instead of a carry because the carry needs more gold and experience over the course of the match. So that's kind of like one of the decisions you can make as a player, which is, do I want to save my ally and allow them to escape, or do we cut our losses and I escape and they die? That's a really complex decision to make. I definitely have the I want to save my friend syndrome where the people I play Dota with, like when we queue together, I really respect them and admire them as people, and I want to see them succeed. And when I see them being killed, it, like on a just human level, I want to go help them. But if that's going to cause me to go die, it's strategically a bad move. So interesting to kind of figure all of that out of, should you go in? Should you retreat? Should you save your friend? Should you let them die? Unit stats, green bar health, blue bar mana. You have the 3 main attributes. Each point of strength gives you 22 health and health regen. And then agility gives you attack speed and a little bit of armor. Intelligence gives you mana regen, and magic resistance. I actually didn't know about the magic resistance. I'm learning here. Movement speed is the speed that you move. Write that down. Turn rate is the speed at which you turn. Vision range is how far you can see. And it varies based on daytime or nighttime. So daytime, you can see more around your character. Nighttime, your vision shrinks. So it's a bit scary. Damage is the amount of damage you do. That makes sense. Attack speed is the speed that you attack. Also makes sense. Base attack time, the time between attacks before additional sources of attack speed for that hero are added. So that's like the wind up. Is that what I would call it? So when Drow goes to her quiver and gets an arrow and puts it on the bow, like that's not the attack, that's the base attack time of being able to shoot the next attack. Attack range is how far away you can shoot them. Projectile speed is how fast it flies. So an example would be any gun using character shoots with what's called hit scan in FPS, where as soon as the bullet fires, it basically just hits instantly. Whereas an arrow flies through the air for more time. There's armor, which is mitigation against physical, magic resist, status resist. So the duration of stuns and silence. This isn't precise numbers, but if there was a 5-second stun and then you had status resistance, you might only be affected by that for 4 seconds. So status resistance is good. Some items give you that. Evasion, a chance to dodge attacks. Damage block. That's just minusing some damage from attacks. Active abilities, that's when you need to press a key. Passive, you don't press a key, it's just always on, unless it's disabled by something. Cooldowns, that's how long it takes for ability to recharge. Channeled means you need to be able to keep casting it on them without being interrupted in some way. Auras are passive and they are around your character, giving people buffs or debuffs to enemies. Stuns, can't move or perform actions. Roots, you can't move, and it prevents you from using movement abilities. Silence, you can't cast spells. Mute means you can't use items, but you can still use abilities. Break, your passives are disabled. So, for example, Drow has a big agi boost from her ultimate ability. So if you cast Break on her, she has much less agility, so her damage is less, her armor is less, it's just not good. And then Disarm, they can't attack with their basic attack. And then Fear is kind of like a stun, but you run in a direction. Okay. Units, the Ancient, it's got nice stats for you, health, regen, the armor, reinforced, backdoor protection, cool. Melee barracks, honestly I haven't even looked at these numbers for stuff. This is kind of cool. Melee barracks has 2.2k health, 5 health regen. The ranged barracks does not have health regen. The melee barracks has more armor, the ranged has less armor. The melee barracks you would say is a higher value target, but it's also harder to kill because in each wave of creeps there are more melee units than there are ranged units. So if you can only kill one barracks, but you know you can finish it off, it's good to kill the melee. It's not bad to kill the range though, like that's still a benefit to your team. Tier 1 towers, it gives you the health. Gold bounty for killing it. Attack speed, this is the damage of it. And you notice the tier 1 and tier 2 and 3 towers have very different amounts of damage. So these towers, I've seen a lot of League of Legends players watch me play Dota and they're like, man, Dota towers are so weak, like you don't have to respect it. Tier 1 towers are pretty weak. So a lot of times fights will happen where you dive under your enemy team's tower and you're fighting there and it's hitting you, but you can still win a fight and then leave. The tier 2 and the tier 3, they hit twice as hard. So you do have to respect the tier 2 and tier 3 towers more. Tier 4 towers, they do the same damage. So the only difference is it has a bit more health. You get more gold bounty. Same attack range. It does have more armor. Lane creeps. This is the melee creep. This is the range creep. Gold bounty, 43 to 52. This one's 34 to 39. So the range creep is more valuable than the melee creep. And the range creep also has mana. So any character that has a mana drain like Lion or a mana burn like Anti-Mage is going to have a different interaction with these units. Like Anti-Mage can kill a range creep easier than a lot of other heroes because his mana burn adds to his damage dealt. So he's good at killing those. Piercing. Flag bearer creep. These give you basically double gold for killing them because it gives you this gold, but then another instance of gold to someone else. Do they give more XP than a melee? No, it's same XP as a melee. This one also gives health regen in an AoE around it. So if you're next to your own team's flag bearer creep, it does heal you some, which is cool. They deal reduced damage to heroes for both melee creeps and the bounty, or the flag bearer ones. Didn't know that. Super melee creeps. These give less gold and XP. That's kind of like wanting to give advantage to the winning team. Super range creeps. So these are activated when you kill the 2 barracks in that one lane. If you kill the ranged, then you activate these super ranged for yourself. And if you kill the melee, you activate your super melee. And then the mega creeps are if you've killed all 3 lanes of barracks, top, middle, and bottom. For these 2. Siege creeps, these are catapults. Some people will call them wagons, but they deal a lot of tower damage. 35 to 46 damage per hit. Reinforced, bonus damage to buildings. So 150% bonus damage. They do reduce damage to heroes though. So they don't hit heroes very hard. You don't have to be like, oh god, a catapult, run away. It's more like, do I want to defend my catapult to help it kill their tower? or do I want to kill their catapult so it doesn't kill our tower? Super and mega catapults. These are the different types of neutrals you can find in the woods. This kobold soldier with the pike thing, he disarms. Yep, every third attack they disarm. So if you fight one of these kobold packs, try to focus these ones down first, because if you're disarmed and you're a right clicker, you can't fight. Ghoul assassin thing. Troll priest. Troll berserker. I think some of these aren't in the game right now. I know this one is. This ghost slows your attack speed, so you should focus this one down first. She's a little bit more glowy and white than the other spirits in that camp. Harpy Stormcrafter. This one, it does a chain lightning, but it's so rare. I don't know why it doesn't cast it that often. Does it say why? Huh. You almost never see the chain effect because you're almost always farming the woods solo. But there is a Stormcrafter and then scouts in the pack. Ogre Frost Mage. This one has an ice armor ability. These bruisers do a big stun. So it's a stun right in front of them. Normally what you want to do is whenever they're like about to do it, you can run behind them and it won't hit you. Or you can just back up to you. But watch out for these. Alpha Wolf, these just hit hard. They have a crit. And then giant wolves with them. Mud golems, these split into smaller golems after you kill them. There are satyrs. Centaurs, this one will stun if there are 3 or more targets near it. War Stomp. Stuns heroes for 3 seconds. Dark Troll Summoner, this one summons 2 little dudes. Hellbear Smasher, this one does a Thunderclap that's an AoE and a slow if there are 3 or more targets. So if you're playing an illusion hero like Naga Siren, you want to be mindful of running at this with 3 to 4 or more illusions. You'll receive more damage and your illusions will get hurt too. Same thing with this guy. If you run at this guy with 3 illusions, then he'll AoE stun you. Satyr Tormentor, these all have mana. This guy does a shockwave. Almost never cast this. But if you control these units somehow, either with Helm of the Dominator or a hero like Enchantress that can take control of enemy creeps, you can like tab over and cast these spells. There's Bird Camp that you can fight. There's some Pinecone soldiers. These are cute. I like their shield and weapon. The Ancients are much stronger than the other camps. Ancient Black Dragon. Who's the hero that can take this? Does Beastmaster take them? And then it is with 2 Drakes. There's a Granite Golem. 2,000 health on that dragon. The Thunder High. These are like Triceratops camps. Man, these ones, their slam ability. They activate this on like 3 or more targets as well. So these really mess up Naga Siren if you run in with everything. Ice Shaman. This is like probably the weakest for the ancient packs. We got items. Main inventory, which we already saw in the tutorials. Neutral item slot, which we saw in the tutorial. And there's a town portal scroll slot. You should always have 1 TP on you. Backpack slots. These are like 3 reserve slots where if you have an item there, it's not actively giving you stats and you can't activate it, but it's in your storage and it's on your hero so you can swap it back on if you want. Stash is what you have in the base. It's like your bank account kind of. This is like recipe and assembly. For like big complicated items, it usually has multiple requisite parts in it that you have to assemble. And you can benefit from the stats of the requisite parts before you complete the main item. So say you wanted to make this Gleipnir, you could get this Rod of Atos to start and then get the other stuff. And you benefit from the int, the strength, and the agi of this item. And you can do the 2-second route before you get this big item. So that's part of the strategy is what items you get next based on what stats you want and what effects you want to bring to the table. Auto combine, like whenever you have things that are part of an item, it'll just instantly become something. You don't need to tell it, okay, I have all of these, now make the Rod of Atos. They'll automatically become the Rod of Atos if you have all of them in the same place at the same time. You can right click an item and combine lock, which it's saying here, which means I don't want this to auto-complete into an item because I'm saving this for something later on. There are a few cases where you want to do that. That's a bit more advanced, I guess. Disassembly, some items you can disassemble. An example for that would be Mask of Madness has a Morbid Mask, which just gives you some lifesteal, and then it has a Quarterstaff, which gives you attack speed and damage. And you need the Morbid Mask for a Satanic, which is a big, expensive lifesteal item. And then a Butterfly requires a Quarterstaff, and that's a really strong Agi evasion item. So in the early game and the mid game, you can use the Morbid Mask, and then in late game, split that item and then make that into the other two items so you don't waste any gold. Pretty cool. Quick buy. I want to show you real quick just what my hotkeys are, because I didn't really talk too much about hotkeys in the tutorial so far. But for my items, I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for all my slots. And then X activates my neutral item. And then tilde is my teleport scroll. My hero abilities, Q, W, E, D, F, R. So I think that's, yeah, all pretty easy to reach. Select hero, I have bound to G. All controlled units is Z. So that means if I have pets that are under my control, or if I have illusions, it'll select all of those. That does not select your courier, just as a note. Attack move is A. Attack move is very strong. Is there anyone in chat who plays StarCraft? Because attack move is something that any StarCraft player knows really well. But in Dota, I don't think it's as obvious to everyone that you can attack move. A lot of times people are trying to specifically right click their target that they want to hit. But if you attack move, your character, based on the priority system, will attack any hostile target in its path. And that can save you a lot of trouble with trying to right click everything specifically. If you attack move at a creep camp and you like get right onto the creeps, your hero will just go and start attacking them. You don't need to like right click them specifically. So this just saves you some trouble in a lot of cases. Hold position I have on H, courier is C, courier deliver items is V. So that'll just grab everything that's in my stash or in my base and bring it to me. Purchase quick buy I have on Y. Chat to team is enter. And then shift enter to talk to the enemy team. My chat wheel is K and my hero chat wheel is L. So this is like emotes just for fun and lore. And this is to communicate to my team. I'll just show you those real quick. Push, help, stun, need wards. You know what I want? I want to replace one of these. I want stack camps. Stack neutrals. Let's do this. Stun, like why would I do this? Stack neutrals. Can I add a emoji to it? Nice. We have a spinny juggernaut. Well played, push, help. Is there anything else I want? Oh, I want relax, you're doing fine. Oh, this is a super good one. Ladies and gentlemen, I highly advise if you're going to set these up to put this one on your business. Let's see. Missing. You can just alt click the enemy hero, so I don't need this one really. Relax, you're doing fine. And let's get something that would be positive. Not a sad one. Not mad. Okay. Om nom. That's kind of cute. Okay. Relax, you're doing fine. Great. Space created and whoops. Sometimes these are good for just admitting that you made a mistake and kind of moving on. Some people will get on your case and like grill you as to like, why did you make that mistake? It just gets really judgy and toxic. So just being like, yep, whoops, or space created can bring some levity to the situation. Do I want to change any of these? Care is kind of not specific. Space created is a good one. Space created. Is there a laugh one? Giggle. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So we got those. Any other hotkeys that I want to show you? Advanced hotkeys. Pause is kind of an important key. Advanced hotkeys. Directional move. That's advanced. Don't worry about that if you're new. Cancel current action is S. Hold position kind of does a similar thing. I don't actually use S. I just use hold position. Taunt item. Never use that. Courier speed burst. Courier shield. Open shop is B. This is a very important one. Why is open shop in advanced? I question this. Smart double tap. Oh, I don't use that. Double tap ability to self-cast. This is really nice. I mentioned this earlier in the Force Staff tutorial thing. So if you have an item that can be activated, if you just double tap it, you don't have to activate it and then select yourself. It automatically puts it on you. For example, Dazzle has a AoE heal. If you just double tap that, he'll just heal and target himself as the primary. Cool. So those are basically the hotkeys that I have set up. We looked through recipe and assembly. Courier stats. The courier is pretty squishy. You can kill enemy couriers and they can kill yours. They can also die to creep waves if you like fly them into a creep wave. So be careful about them. The battlefield, there's the mini map. The better you are at Dota, the more often you check the mini map just to see where your allies are and where the enemy team is. I like to think about, okay, the enemy team is concentrated up here. So if I'm a carry and I want to be farming safely, I want to be further from the enemy team. So if I have my allies right here, they're protecting this area. If I have my allies like just at mid, then maybe this area is safe. So you can just look at the minimap and see relative position, enemy team, my team, myself. If I'm a frontliner like Tidehunter, as we saw earlier, maybe I want to be right in the front. So if a fight starts, I'm immediately jumping in and hitting them. Or if I'm playing a hero like Medusa or Drow, where I'm a backliner that's arranged, I want to be with my team between me and the enemy team. Home shop, secret shop, we already saw those. The Fountain Ancient, we saw those. Towers, outpost, barracks, fog of war. Yeah, so vision can be blocked by high ground, by trees, that kind of stuff. Invisible units are invisible unless you have detection, and it's broken when you attack. True, true. These watchers are new little vision buddies. Whenever Roshan is killed, you get all the watchers on the map. But they're kind of like neutral wards on the map that you can right-click and activate them for your team. Or if the enemy team has them, you can mute them and basically turn them off for a period of time. We saw these wards. Dust of Appearance reveals enemy heroes that were invisible and keeps them visible for 12 seconds. It's pretty good. The debuff lingers for 8 seconds after leaving the area. I actually didn't know all of that. Cool. Smoke of Deceit is pretty cool. There might be more tutorials on some of these, but these are the invisible items. This one gives you invis. The Gem of True Sight means that you can see all invisible stuff around you, which is very strong, but it's dropped on death and it can't be destroyed. So if you have it and you die, the enemy team picks it up, now it's theirs. So it is risky to buy that. But it can be really good if your main problem is dealing with invisibility. There are the bounty runes and the power runes. Water runes restore health and mana, twice as much mana as health. Regen runes heal you to maximum unless you're hit by an enemy hero. Double damage increases base damage by 100. Haste gives you max move speed. Invis makes you invis for 45 seconds. Illusion gives you 2 illusions that deal 35% of your damage. Melee illusions take 200%, range take more, and they last 75 seconds, which is a long time. Arcane Rune reduces cooldowns and mana cost by 30%. Shield runes give you a damage barrier for 75 seconds equal to 50% of your max HP. Wisdom runes give you bonus XP. The wisdom runes are pretty new, but this also gives it to the lowest level hero on the team. So that's really, really nice. They actually patched this in pretty recently. It used to just be the person who picks it up, I think. Roshan, he's got a lot of health and stuff. You get 135 gold per player for the team that kills him. After dying, Roshan respawns. He respawns after a certain time period, which can vary. So he can either respawn more quickly or more slowly. It's kind of random. The Aegis we saw in the tutorial. The cheese is an item that he drops on his second death. And it drops an Aghanim shard once for this kill only. I don't know if they changed that. I think it's just cheese. Refresher shard basically means one-time use. It just recharges all your abilities and items. And then Aghanim's Blessing. This is a very, very valuable item. 5,800 value. He drops this on his third death. Cool. Tormentor, this is a new thing. It's a cube. It regens all damage. And then it also reflects damage. So you need to use teamwork to kill these most of the time. Generally having 3 to 5 people is ideal for killing these. If you do it with 3, you might be very hurt when you kill it. If you do it with 4 or 5, you should be fine. This spawns at 20 minutes and then every 10th minute after it's been killed. And it gives you the Aghanim's Shard, which passively upgrades one of your hero's abilities, depending on the hero. Teamwork. Chat wheel, I showed you that stuff. Pings, that's just Alt and then left clicking somewhere. You can Alt and click a whole bunch of things in the game. One thing that I like to do is ping the cooldown of my abilities. If I'm a character that has an ultimate that's really important for the team, like say Faceless Void, he has this big sphere where he stops time, but he can move around inside of it and hit people, and the team can work around that to a big advantage. I can Alt and then ping my ability, which will communicate to the team automatically that my ability is on cooldown for 30 seconds. So they know they can't rely on me to do my ult for that 30-second time period just by me Alt and then clicking that item. Sometimes people will do this to grief you by like spam Alt clicking your abilities as though they're like mad that you're not using it correctly. You can just mute them. That's just them being obnoxious. Okay. Text and voice chat can be individually muted on players on either team that are not communicating in a helpful way. Muting will also limit how frequently pings from these players are displayed. So this is a really important skill in Dota. So whenever people are talking about the game state, they can do one of two things when they're dealing with a failure of some kind. They can say, we should have backed earlier. We need to be careful and not go into that spot. That's talking about an objective, and that's stating an intention of what the team needs to do better. This is positive. This is good. You're bad, you're shit, you're trash, you're terrible, never play this character again, uninstall the game. That's bashing. And that's a waste of time. It's a waste of your mental resource. It's a drag on team morale. So when people are doing that, you should feel fully confident and you should feel okay with just muting that person because they're wasting your time and their time. And a lot of times they're not really out to have like an actual strategy discussion. They're just venting their own life frustration at you. So try not to take these things personally. Your teammates, if you're just queuing with random people, they don't know you. They don't know your experience level. So muting people in team games is actually a pretty vital skill for just your own focus. Even if you consider yourself to be a tough person and I can deal with people talking shit, whatever. Sure, but at a point, it can be hard to just think about what your next move is when they're screaming at you. So muting people is a really good move just from an objective, results-oriented capacity. Some people are very bad at managing their own communications. Teamwork terminology. A carry carries the team to victory. They're outsized in attack power and durability compared to the rest of their team by the end of the game. Oh, so yeah, so they get really big by the end of the game, but they're weak at the start of the game. They need a bunch of help at the start. They need a bunch of money and experience to be valuable. So generally speaking, the team tries to put the carry in the safest possible spot on the map. A core is just someone who needs gold. Like they're the main people who need gold and items, and they're going to be the strongest on the team the longer the game goes. The supports are the ones who are trying to set up the cores to succeed and to get money. They're the ones who are focusing on getting vision, placing wards, sharing regen with people, healing people, trying to get them out of trouble, sometimes sacrificing themselves to save the carry. Position 1 through 5, this is farming priority, so the position 1 gets top priority for farm. If there's the position 1 and any other teammate, the position 1 should get the farm because they're going to benefit from it the most. If there's a position 2 and a position 4, the position 2 would take the farm. If there's a position 4 and a position 5, the position 4 would take the farm. So the lower number is the higher farm priority. Team fights are conflicts where majority of players are in it. So as a player, you have to decide, do I want to go into this team fight or not? Is this a good one for us or not? That's a very complex decision, and I think you should give yourself permission to fail and make some mistakes just to learn and see what happens. Because a lot of these fights are really complex. You've got a bunch of different heroes with different items, abilities, and levels all crashing into each other. And as a new player, you're not really going to know what's going to happen. So don't be mad at yourself if you go into a fight and it goes really bad. Just try to process, okay, what did I die to? Like, what were the main sources of damage that caused me to die? How was the positioning of the fight? And is there anything I could have done to make that fight more successful in the future? You can't change it after the fact, but you can change the way you approach the next fights that you take. Early game, mid game, and late game. They just give like 15-minute benchmarks for that. I guess that is about accurate. I would give a note that around 10 minutes into the game, really 8 to 10 minutes, the safe lane towers are oftentimes killed because that's when the off lane hero is getting really strong and they can apply a lot of pressure. So 15 minutes, you might need to leave your lane and start jungling before then. Farm is to get gold. Usually farming means you're getting gold in a way that doesn't involve fighting enemy heroes. You're just fighting neutral stuff on the map or creeps. Jungling is focusing on neutrals. Ganking is going to get a kill on an enemy hero. Rotation is when someone is going to a different lane than they started out in to help someone else. Harass is damaging or pressuring enemy heroes. Lane equilibrium. This is advanced. Love to see it. Yeah, so basically how close is the creep wave to my tower as opposed to the enemy team's tower? The closer it is to your tower, you have a safer retreat spot. You can fall back and like be safer by virtue of being by your tower. If it's more forward, that could mean that you could push their tower, but it also means that you don't have a safe place that you can retreat to as easily, so it's more aggressive and risky. Team fights, objectives, they went over all of this. Buyback is something that is a bit of an advanced decision. This is more of a late game thing. You don't buy back in the early game. In most cases, you just soak the death because you're not dead for that long at low levels. But this means you can instantly get back in the game. It does cost a lot of gold to do that. And if you mouse over the bottom right thing, it'll tell you how close you are to being able to afford buyback. And then that's something that goes on cooldown for a pretty long amount of time. It's like 5 minutes or something. Cool. Hero and item choices. BKB is a really good item. It gives you immunity to debuffs. Ha, they still haven't changed this from the new patch. It says spell immunity. It's not full spell immunity anymore. You get 50% magic resistance and immunity to pure and reflected damage. And then the duration decreases with each successive use to a lowest amount of 6. Advanced. Critical strike, 2-strike, lifesteal, bash, mana break. Ethereal, they can't take physical damage or attack, but they can still be hit by magic stuff. Phase, you can move through stuff. Move, attack, attack, move, stop, hold, patrol. Patrol? I don't think I've ever used patrol. Oh, queued orders. This is pretty cool. You can shift move. I do this sometimes, where I'll tell myself to go to a spot and then go to another spot, or move somewhere and then shift attack. Queuing commands is pretty cool. You can move, shift, blink, shift, ult would be one. That's kind of advanced. You can also just hit the abilities as stuff happens. Well, sweet. We hit the glossary. All right, we viewed the glossary. Watch a live match. Last hitting. What's last hit? It amazes you how throws and genius plays are happening regularly at all ranks. That's one of the things that's really fun about Dota, even at a low level, is your skill is relative to the other people in the match at the time. Let's Drow last hit because she's one of the harder ones to last hit with.
Enough.
And this will allow you to see the wind up and stuff.
I go in silence.
So we're last hitting. I'm going to try to time it so I get it. I'm using hold position to make sure I'm not just auto attacking stuff. And I'm also making sure that I'm facing where I'm going to shoot next, because it does take time to turn your character.
Arrow, find your target.
Haven't missed one yet.
Forward.
So by me securing the kill, I get golden XP, and by denying,
Very well.
I deny my enemy the golden XP, or at least half the XP. As a carry, you want to prioritize last hitting enemy stuff before denying your own stuff.
I shall nip.
So I would rather miss one deny than miss a last hit, if I have to make a choice. This is a really good tool that I continue to use. This last hitting trainer, I think it was Electrojack who told me about it. But this one, I'll do this while I'm in the queue for a game, just as a warm-up, to make sure I'm like getting accustomed to the rhythm of how these different creeps attack each other. You can also get some of your mistakes out of the way before you get into a match. This is somewhat similar to how I'll do an empty custom game or a custom game against very easy AI for StarCraft, where it's like a laboratory setting. You're not being harassed by an opponent. I just get to focus on some of the simple fundamentals.
Silent as mist.
The last hitting is pretty hard. You can do
Cut
this,
a notch with your
maybe
nail.
try Drow and see what you can get, but this is a hero where when I was starting out, my last hits were so bad
So be it.
because her windup is so slow with the bow. But as she gets more agility and items, her attacks hit
Your
harder
fate
and the
is
attack
sealed.
speed increases. So it gets easier and easier to last hit, but in this last hit trainer, you stay level 1 with no items the whole time. So it's a little bit like training with weights on. It makes it artificially harder on yourself than it would be in an actual game. So that when you get in an actual game, it's like, oh, well, I have some agi items, so this is actually
Into
easier.
the fray.
I just hit level 2, level 3, so it's easier.
Arrow, fly.
You also, over time, get more accustomed to how
My
hard the
sentiments
tower
as
hits
well.
versus how hard your friendly creeps hit. and you develop a sense for when to shoot your shot.
That was my thought.
15 seconds remaining.
I'm using hold position a bunch, just to make sure I'm in a good spot and I'm facing my
Bite,
target.
frost. My bow is drawn.
This is the last wave. Pretty good round.
Quiver.
79%. Nice. 20 last hits, 18 denies. Pretty good. You can do this with different heroes too. Drow is one of the hardest. Shadow Fiend is also one of the hardest because you don't get any abilities in this last hit trainer. Let me show you one of the easiest. Juggernaut. Oh my gosh.
Range.
Of course.
Afar.
He has the last hit animation that other heroes wish they had.
Attack.
So easy. It's very snappy and responsive.
So you say?
Most melee characters, I would say, are going to have a more snappy and responsive animation. Just because being melee puts you at a disadvantage of needing to be more forward and out of position. Ranged heroes have the benefit of being further back from danger and still being able to deal their full damage.
Forward.
Dominating.
You cannot hide. Look me in the eye. Swiftly now.
It's 3 tower hits and then you can get arranged.
As you wish. Already moving.
Mega kill.
As you wish.
Still using hold position and kind of putting myself
Last.
in a spot where I'm just ready to attack it whenever I need to. And also pull the lane back toward myself like that by attacking it multiple times.
I bring my blade.
So easy to last hit with Juggernaut. I think in Heroes of New Earth, the attack animations were a bit more consistent between heroes. In Dota, they're more varied. Certain heroes are really easy to last hit with and other ones are very hard. Right there, I just decided to prioritize the last hit over the deny.
Attack.
Because Jug is a carry.
Your death approaches. Agreed.
There is uphill miss in this game too, which applies to both heroes and creeps.
Wicked.
The range creeps, melees can't have uphill miss.
Run if you can.
Oops.
Stand
5 tower hits. I count in my head whenever the tower is hitting stuff.
What coward
I don't
runs?
know why it helps me. Maybe it's a thing from playing music. I have 18 in a row.
15 seconds remaining.
Attack. It's an honor.
Godlike.
Onward.
Did I not miss a single last hit?
You cannot
Did I
hide.
miss one? Let's go. Yeah, I would definitely advise doing this last hit trainer if you play mid, safe lane, or off lane. Even if you play support, sometimes you do want to last hit, like say your carry leaves or is killed, you can still get the money, and you should try to get it if you can, because you do benefit from gold. It'd be cool if it had an equilibrium metric to try to keep it on your side of the river. Yeah, that would be cool if there was a creep management one. Invisibility detection, let's go.
30 seconds to video game.
Hold on.
Hell yes.
Click on the shop. Sentry ward.
To hell and back.
Okay. You can use a sentry ward. Okay, how do I grab from my stash? Huh? Draw from stash.
Yes.
Click the sentry ward to use its hotkey. Oh, I need to go closer to the shop. Grab all.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. So by using the sentry ward to detect invis, I was able to kill that.
Why not?
Ricky turns invisible. Defeat him under the gaze of the sentry ward.
Forward.
Wah. Stunned him. Zapped him.
We have first blood.
Nice.
The elements.
It's gonna have me do dust. Move to the next shop. There are other ways to detect invisible heroes. You got a dust of appearance. Ha! I've detected you. Zapped him! Oh, he had a gem of true sight.
Go now.
Oh, the gem lets me see invis all the time, as long as I'm alive.
Verily.
Move your hero to the wards. The wards up here? Oh, there's a ward there. Why would
Oh,
there
hell
there?
yes.
I like this autumn skin of the map. It's cool. We did it.
Radiant beat the dark.
Dust does not reveal wards though. Good note, good note. Alright. Stacking neutral camps. This is a very important one, especially for support, but even as a carry, sometimes you stack for yourself. Let's see how it tells us to do it.
The time has come.
Neutral creeps will chase you if you attack them. That's true. Right click on the neutral creep to attack.
My sentiments precisely.
Lead them out of their camp's borders.
I
Okay.
am not argue.
They respawn at the minute, but only if no other units are inside their camp. Lead the entire camp out of their borders so the camp is empty at the minute mark. So when the timer hits 0, you want them out of the box, and that will allow the stack to refresh.
Very well.
Okay. 3, 4. Pulling it at 54 is usually good. 53 usually works. It depends a little bit on the movement speed of the creeps in the camp, but as a reference, yeah, 53 to 54 is normally what I would go with. So Alchemist is a really fast farmer, so he was able to AoE farm that down. And his ability got double value because he had 2 camps to farm with the 1 cast. So stacking stuff is super important. Very nice way to increase the value for your team. Pulling creeps. Let's learn.
With vim and vigor.
Okay.
Very fine.
Alright, lane creeps are here. What does it want me to do? This point is better for Dire. That's true. Being close to your tower means you have a defensive retreat point. That's good.
On my round.
Pulling neutral creeps in a lane can divert your creeps and change the location where the creeps meet. True. Basically, you're starting a fight between the neutrals and your creeps. So it just has them passively here. So I attack this guy and then I run to this. And then they'll start fighting each other. Yeah.
Yes.
This is something that supports normally do for their carry. Pulling creeps is not always beneficial.
What? Yeah.
Right click the ground.
A
Move.
twisted path.
Attack a neutral creep at the right moment. Okay.
By my bones.
By my bones. We did it. Cool. That is important. Use private coaching. Match with a coach. Has anyone ever done this? I haven't ever tried this with like a random coach. Seems kind of sus. View item section. Cool. These are all the items. You could just go through and read everything or not. I don't think I've read through all of these, honestly. Ain't nobody got time for that. There's so many items in this game. I normally hone in on a smaller subset of heroes that they do what I want to do in Dota, and then I try to get good with the items that those heroes use. So, yeah, just some items that I use pretty often. Butterfly is really good on agility heroes. It's a late game item. You have like your starter items. The Null Talisman, which gives you more int. Wraithband is more agi. Bracer is more strength. These are like starting items. Magic Wand is a really good item that you make on a lot of heroes in a lot of instances. Hand of Midas is an item that is pretty greedy to make, but a lot of people make it because they don't understand the value of being strong in the early game. People overmake this item, definitely. If you have a hero that already has a farming mechanism in it, getting this is a bit redundant. And then if you're support and you buy this, then that puts you further from getting a crucial, helpful item in the early game like Mechanism or, what's another one? Pipe of Insight or something. Urn of Shadows. Because if you enable kills for your team, then that's going to just naturally give you more gold and assist gold as well. You can also read all the neutral items here. Whenever the different tiers of neutral items are unlocked, you get a decision to make between 5 of them, and you get a random dice roll. So 7 minutes and beyond, the tier 1s will drop, and there are 5 of them total. So whenever you get a tier 1 token, it'll give you a random deal of 5 of these, and of those 5, you choose the one that's going to be the best fit for your hero in that match. So you want to think about what each of these items does, and then which one is the best pick for you. And then 17 minutes, tier 2s start dropping, 27 minute the tier 3s, 37 the tier 4s, and then hour plus the tier 5s will drop. Cool. What else do we need to do? Learn. Okay, we're not going to do the coaching one. Customize your profile. This one's fun. Okay. So you get to choose what heroes are featured here. You can go edit profile, choose background. You can choose whatever background I want. Whenever you buy a pack of skins, oftentimes it will come with a background of some kind. So this, and then now we have an awesome quap background. You can also change which of these is shown. First match, MVPs, commends, wins. And then you can choose some of your featured heroes, and you can show if it has the hero, the win-loss, or just the wins, depending on what you want to show. And then you have featured heroes. So when people click on your account, you can show off your skins, or also just kind of show what heroes you like to play. So I like Shadow Fiend, Anti-Mage, Drow. Those are some of my favorites. They look really cool. And I like Agi heroes. So you can customize that. Save changes to save it. You also have battle stats. I have Dota Plus. Dota Plus I think is very good. You get a bunch of extra information during the matches of how many last hits and denies you have compared to averages of a winning game of that hero. You can also see your gold per minute, experience per minute. I think most of this stuff you can see without Dota Plus. Maybe just stats. Fun thing, you can see your teammates and your win rate, win-loss, number of games with different people you play with. Cool. Customize profile. Visit the Shard shop. This is a place where you can get skins and stuff. Some people will tip other people with shards as a way of BMing them. But the way that I got around this, and I don't ever feel rustled when I get BM tipped, is it helps you unlock cool skins. So when someone tips you, it gives you, is it 50 or 100 shards? I think it might be 50. But you can get shards by just winning matches. If you do any guild contracts, if you're in a clan or guild, whatever it's called in this game, you get more shards from that too. You can also get hero relics, which are really cool. These track the different things that you've done on that hero since you've had that shard. So I unlocked this shard, which just tracks I've burned 1,738,362 mana of enemy heroes. It's just a fun vanity thing where you can see how much you've done. 519 times I've blinked in and gotten a kill. 633 times I blocked a spell with counterspell. Cool. I hit 3 heroes with a mana void 97 times. How many last hits do I have? $99,151 last hits. Just fun stuff. And whenever you reach the next threshold during a game, a little icon pops up over the hero and it like shows that you got your 100,000th last hit or whatever. Chat wheel, you can have different sounds and stuff. These are just funny. This is good. My brother is really good at using these for comedic timing. That's another way to be silly and have fun in the game. Customize your gear. I don't know how to do this. Kill streak effects. I didn't really mess with this. You got hero sets. Yeah, that's the shard shop. It's like a different kind of resource that isn't money. Dodge/disjoint scenario. Let's see it. How do we dodge or disjoint an attack?
Where do you think we go when we die?
I go. On it. Blink dagger.
I like having my blink on 3.
I gust onward.
Oh. Oh.
As the arrow flies.
You can't touch me.
A windy scepter. Already moving.
I can dance all day. I can dance all day trying to hit me.
You won! Yeah!
That's cool. Dodge or disjoint stuff. Item setups. What is this? Smoke also disjoints. Yeah, and sometimes stealth does if you use a Shadow Blade or something. Jakiro's Ice Path can be difficult to hit. We'll get some practice with Ice Path. Got him. Use an Atos and I root him and he cast it. Cool. It's a line stun, and there are different ways you can make that easier to land.
Praise the Radiant and then...
Nice. Advanced items. I wonder what items this is going to have me do. Tangos can be shared. Okay. Click on the shop, get a tango. Get an Aether Lens. I have no money. Supports give tangos to their allies. I showed you this already. Sell your tango. Okay. Right click Arcane Boots. Oh, it's going to show me to disassemble. Yep. Okay, so when you disassemble, it automatically locks combining. Now I bet it wants me to get an Aether Lens. Yep. So right click the energy booster and select unlock combining. So now the energy booster can combine with stuff, but my boots will not. So it won't immediately remake back into the arcane boots. Click on the shop, right click Aether Lens, and we got it. Cool. Right click on the boots, select unlock combining. Click on the shop, right click boots of travel. Okay. So that just showed you how to disassemble and then reassemble items. Black King Bar. Oh my gosh. This is one of the Dota items of all time. Very good item. Very good if you're against a bunch of heroes that have nasty spells that are preventing you from doing stuff. See? That's what happens when you don't use it. We got a pound sign. Now I'm going to use it with BKB. Yeah, you see the difference? BKB is a good item. You're immune to Hex, you're immune to stun. You take half magic damage, no pure damage, no reflected damage. Glimmer Cape.
30 seconds.
Crystal Maiden. The Glimmer Cape turns you invisible for a short time, allowing you to escape. Click your Glimmer Cape and click your hero as soon as chaos approaches. I'm going to do a magic trick here. I told you before, if you double tap it self-casts. I'm invisible. Chaos Knight doesn't see nothing.
Agreed.
Oh crap, he saw me. I can still escape. I got there.
Forward.
Okay. Glimmer Cape on your allies to make them invisible. Okay.
Here I come.
CK doesn't even see nothing. Huh, must have been the wind.
Faster.
It provides a lot of magic
I
resistance. Cast it on him as he gets scythed. I didn't even know that it does that. It absorbs 300 damage to you or an ally.
First blood.
I'm learning. I don't play supports very often. Glimmer Cape is very strong.
The Radiant beat the Dark.
Wow. What a good item. Nice. Well, cool. We got through all the scenarios. Aside from like playing with the coach and stuff. So before we wrap up, I wanted to talk a little bit about just getting into unranked or ranked play. You can't play ranked until you've done 100 hours of unranked. If I were to give someone advice and they're brand new, play versus bots first. Just so you can ramp up the difficulty, easy, medium, hard, unfair. You can pick what team you're on. This way you get a sense for your hero, your items, your abilities, and no one will yell at you. Even if you like have everyone muted. Like, this is great. Playing with bots means nothing's really at stake aside from your own learning process. And then once you feel comfortable with your hero and your items and stuff and your build, then you can do unranked. There's all pick and turbo. Turbo means you get more XP and gold. The towers are weaker and courier use is easier. I don't play turbo, but some people really like it. All pick is like the same rules as normal competitive Dota. So you can ban heroes and then you pick heroes and there's a pick order and stuff. This all pick unranked is going to be basically the same as ranked. The only thing is there's no roll queue. So I usually do roll queue when I play ranked, which means I select mid and safe lane. If you were, say, Electro Jack, you can pick hard support as your favorite role. Or if you're Apoptosis, you play off lane. Or if you're Theory, you play mid. Like, these are some of my friends where I know what positions they like to play. And then it's cool whenever you find friends who play complementary roles to yourself. So sometimes I'll play safe lane, and if I'm queuing with Broken Helix and we want to lane together, he can play hard support, which means we're going to end up going to the same place at the start of the game. You can just talk with your friend and work together and try to win the lane. Soft support and off lane will lane together. So these are a pair, and then these are a pair, and then mid goes by themselves. Mid, usually. So don't be too intimidated by Dota. It takes a long time to learn the game, but a lot of learning just happens naturally by seeing more situations. You should give yourself full permission to go into a team fight, lose the fight, and learn from the fight. I even have that happen to me still with some of the more rare heroes. They'll hit a certain power spike. They'll get a certain item that's kind of off kilter or weird or rare, and I'll die to it. And I don't get mad because I just learned. And that's part of the process of learning the game. Another thing is positioning on the map. Sometimes you're too forward on the map and you die. That's a good death if you allow that to be a teaching moment for yourself and you say, okay, at this phase of the game, based on our map vision, based on our levels, that was not safe. And I have just now learned that. So it's a really fun game to play and get a lot of matches in, because every single match you have a unique draft of heroes, you have a unique set of players who are in it, and they're all behaving in unique ways, and you can focus on some of your own fundamentals. So like we saw with the last hitting trainer, one of my main things that I always go into the match thinking about is I want to try to last hit really well. I want to get good value from my lane, and I want to pressure my enemies so I have more space to farm for myself. I also want to have a really good eye on the minimap so I know where my team is, where the enemy team is, and where I should be farming if I'm playing a carry. Another thing too, people will call you bad if you have your comms like enabled, if you let people message you and stuff, or talk in chat or in voice. They will call you bad, but they don't know you, and they don't know that you're just here to learn and have fun. So these are people who are basically immature, disrespectful, and dealing with stress in their own life, and they're not managing themselves appropriately. Try not to take that personally. Just try to focus on your own learning process. And what I would recommend is using the buddy system, queuing with friends who can give you a more rational take on the situation. Maybe I'm queuing with my brother, and we're a pair of 2 with a team of 5, and maybe the 3 people who we queued with are just like, "You're so bad, well, I'll never play that again." Like they're doing the whole angry rage thing. We can talk amongst each other, and I can say, okay, yeah, that actually was a mistake, or no, they're just kind of trying to deflect from their own mistakes, and I think what we were doing was okay. So having an accountability buddy, just someone who is with you in the same spirit of improving at the game and enjoying the game. Dota is beautiful with how many different situations can create cool fights that are really rewarding, where the work from the early game pays off in the mid game, or maybe your team falls behind and you end up being really tough and you stick with it. You keep working together as a team. You fall back to the high ground, and the enemy team overextends. You win that clutch fight. You get back into an even game, and then you can get ahead and win the game. So yeah, just think about this as a really big learning opportunity, and as a game that has so much depth that there's something new for you to learn every game that you play. So don't go into it expecting to know everything. Go into it expecting other people to mess up, and for you to mess up, and for those to create funny moments that you can laugh about rather than get too upset about. Because honestly, if you can just be okay with failure, you'll have a much more pleasant ride up the ladder if you want to climb, or if you just want to enjoy the game and play unranked. That's totally fine too. The game is the same between unranked all pick and ranked all pick. It's just the way that the drafting system is different. Well, this has been an overall kind of comprehensive crash course in Dota guide. If there are any questions in Twitch chat before we wrap up this conversation, I will give you a couple minutes. I've seen a lot of people say that Dota seems intimidating to get started with, so I wanted to do just one big video that people could listen to or watch and then feel like they can dive in and not be completely lost. If one person calls you bad, the vast majority of people are fine. We don't notice the people who don't call us bad. Yes, I would call that the silent majority of just well-mannered gamers who are just trying to have fun in their leisure time. If I had to put a number on it, percentage-wise, maybe 10% of the community is toxic to the point of like bashing and talking shit. On average. You can have games where it feels like everyone deserves a report and it's just super bad. But then you have some games that it's like no one BM'd anyone the whole time. And those are like a blessing. You downloaded Dota 2 with good intentions, but you're too far behind. Yeah, the game's been out for a long time, but I went from Guardian to Ancient in a year. Granted, that's playing it a lot, but you can have fun with Dota in Herald. Someone in the chat earlier said, at all levels of skill, you can have genius plays and really horrible blunders. So think about the way that you do nukes in StarCraft. You can do plays like that in Dota at any level of skill. You can make stuff go boom. That's true. What kept you playing after you first started? Basically the feedback loop of every time I played a game, I felt like I learned something. That feels really good to me. I really like that. Where I get a hero, I start out with it, I know that it's bad, but I get to practice. And like say my last hitting with Shadow Fiend, with Drow, seeing it go from being really bad to being tighter and tighter and better, but then still seeing that I can improve more, it gives me that drive to keep getting in practice. I like the incremental improvement. Can you recommend a good in-depth guide for macro and map control in Dota? I can give you a quick crash course in it. So let's just say that we're Radiant here. So we're this team with the pretty grass and stuff. The more of the map that you take, the more ahead your team is going to get. So it kind of starts out divided by the river. This is the 50-50 of the map. This is Dire side. This is Radiant side. Good macro means knocking down one of their towers, and then you take that part of the map. So this is our off lane as the Radiant team. As the offlaner gets really strong, they get level 6, they get their ultimate, they start to bully the carry on the enemy team and push them back really hard because the offlaner doesn't need items as bad as the carry does. And then they can push down this tower, and once this tower is down, they can't retreat to this spot anymore. It's gone. They have to retreat to this as the next tower. So you macro by punching down key objectives like towers, take the Watcher, so you take the vision, and then now the Radiant team can farm these two camps here. So you've just increased the space for your team. You can also get this Lotus pool, which gives you little healing and mana Lotus things. And then other things you can take, like if you're really ahead, you could take the Tormentor on the enemy side. You could steal their Wisdom rune. Like StarCraft, in Dota, the way that you macro and get ahead is by consuming more of the map. It starts out as a perfectly even split map where everyone is level 1 and nobody has items. You just have starting gold. And then you try to incrementally get more and more of the map until you're at their base and kicking it in. For you, it's hours in the day work week. Oh yeah, that's another thing to mention. The average match duration for a Dota game is about 30 minutes, ballpark. You can have 18-minute games very quick, but that's kind of rare. And you can have hour-long games, but that's also rare. So if you're trying to schedule in a Dota match, I would recommend giving yourself an hour. Just say, okay, I'm going to play a Dota game. An hour can account for the drafting period, which is a couple minutes, and then the average match, which is usually 30 minutes. But if it goes long, you still have some time. That is one of the potential downsides for Dota, is it's not really the type of game that you can just play for 5 minutes and then quit. Like, you're going to want to be able to commit an hour minimum for one game. Banana Slam Jamma, I watch his guides, yeah. He's got good ones. Nevershear thinks Dota is the most interesting MOBA for 2 reasons: item power and diversity, and everyone has full access to 100 plus heroes. Yeah, that's the thing with League of Legends, where you have to do stuff to unlock all the heroes. When you play Dota, you have the heroes. You don't have to pay money to play all of them. Some of the skins cost money, but like I showed you with the shards, some of the skins you can just buy with shards, or they drop randomly just from a match. Like you could get a Naga Siren weapon or something that randomly drops for you. Just to show you a quick pass of some of my favorite heroes, I guess I can just go to my stats. All time. 512 games with Shadow Fiend, 380 with Anti-Mage, 266 with Drow, Faceless Void, Luna, Spectre, Queen of Pain, Huskar, PA, Naga Siren, Medusa, Earthshaker. But my heroes played is really top heavy. A lot of the heroes I haven't even played. Does it say? I don't think it shows my unplayed heroes. I don't know where to find that. But there are a lot of heroes that I've never played. I played OD one time, Morphling one time, Pangolier one time. And you don't have to play the heroes to understand what they do. You can, and that certainly can help your understanding. But also, being killed by a Bat Rider and then reading what his abilities do, that is another way to learn them. There's a bar, hide heroes less than. You can slide it to 0. It only goes to 1. I can do 10. Unless I can disable that. Oh, I guess any of the ones I don't have the 1 next to. Probably haven't played. But yep, Dota 2, heckin' excellent game. Very intimidated to get into. Intimidating. But absolutely feasible to get into. Use the buddy system. Play with your friends. Unless you fancy yourself a super hardcore gamer, then just go be a salty pirate with the rest of them if you want to. But don't expect people to play perfectly. Expect people to make some mistakes. And then just try to use these competitive games to work on your own self-improvement and growth. Your ability to face a complicated situation, to try your best, to fail, to assess what went wrong, and then to adjust to be stronger moving forward. And you can be a strong gamer, for sure. I went from Guardian to Ancient, just spamming Agi carries. I do play the other roles sometimes, but not very much, because I have friends who like supporting, so lets me play carry and mid more. But I hope you found this guide useful. If there are any questions or concepts that I did not cover in this, you can give a YouTube comment and I can show you maybe my take on stuff. But Dota 2 is a beautiful game. I've been playing it a whole lot. And yeah, hope this guide is useful to some people. And I'll see you on the next.